Well, hello there, everyone. It's me, Esther Bartkiw. Today we are going to talk about setting boundaries, probably one of the top 5 themes or issues that people come to me for private sessions to work on. They need to set personal boundaries. Maybe it's a physical boundary, a mental or emotional one. And because it comes up so often, and it fits with that theme of self-confidence and self-esteem, right? Which is the topic of our upcoming event starting November 1st. I thought that this would be a really good time to go through this. So we're going to talk about what does it mean to set up boundaries, when to set up boundaries, how to set up boundaries, what you need within to set up boundaries, knowing other people's boundaries, and what not to do with boundaries. Plus, I'm going to give you a number of examples of signs of, maybe it's time now to set up a boundary. All right, so let's get started. All right, what does it mean to set boundaries? Setting boundaries is like coming up with a guideline or limits or parameters of ways that it is acceptable for people to be with you, okay? To talk to you, to be with you, to behave towards you. And when those guidelines, parameters are crossed, you'll say something. You'll stand up for yourself, you'll say something, all right? Now, when do you set up boundaries? Anytime you find yourself that in a situation where maybe you feel violated, or manipulated, taken advantage of, used, abused, exhausted because you're giving all of your energy to someone or they seem to be taking energy from you. If you're in a situation and you feel out of alignment, something is not right there, in conversations where you're being criticized, being judged, being told what to do. Okay, so those are really good instances of, I might need to set a boundary here. And I'm going to give you some specific examples, like real everyday examples a little bit later on in this video. All right, so what do you need within to set a boundary? Okay, self-love. I love myself enough to set this boundary, even if this person doesn't like it. Okay. Self-care, self-honor. I honor myself enough that I am not going to put myself in this situation anymore. Self-respect, self-worth, self-trust. Those are all under the umbrella of self-esteem and self-confidence. So sometimes we set boundaries and that inner self-confidence and self-esteem is boosted because of it. And sometimes when we're having a trouble setting a boundary, it's important to build all of those inner energies within you. And then it'll be easier to set your boundaries. Okay? It is very good to know your own boundaries. Absolutely. But then also become aware of other people's boundaries. And as you grow your intuition and your feeling and your sensing, it becomes very easy to see, I got too close to them, or I'm asking too many probing questions, or I'm telling them what to do and they don't like it, and you can back off, or just asking them, I sense I crossed a boundary here, please tell me. And then the one thing to be very careful about is that while setting boundaries is good, make sure you're not creating a prison for yourself. Sometimes I work with people who have set up such strong boundaries, like walls, a fortress around them, that nothing is able to come in and they're not able to get out, whether it's people or relationships or opportunities or just enjoyment of life. Okay, so be mindful that as you're setting up boundaries, that you're not creating a prison for yourself. And the moment you sense it, adjust your boundaries. I really feel that boundaries are different from topic to topic and experience to experience. Okay, And it is our experiences that determine our boundaries. You have an experience, you're like, ooh, I didn't like that. What do I need to put up as a guideline or a parameter for other people moving forward? And then as you grow in self-power, as you grow in self-confidence and self-esteem, I truly believe that those boundaries become less and less, right? Because when you're standing in your power and you are confident, people won't come and muck around with you. They show you respect. They honor you, your position, your choices. They won't take advantage of you. And if they do, you're standing in your power and you'll say something. Okay, this doesn't feel right for me, right? I'm not sticking around for this. And they'll get the message really quickly. All right, so here's some signs that it is time to set up boundaries. And maybe one of these relate to you. And these are examples that have come from sessions that I have done with clients on this topic. So if you are always feeling that you have to explain yourself to people, justify what you're doing, rationalize what you're doing, saying, here's my decision because, and then you've got to go on for 5 minutes explaining it, that's a sign that maybe you need to set a boundary. Okay? So why is your no not good enough? Or why can't you just say, here's my decision and leave it at that? If you always find you've got to explain yourself, you're trying to make it more comfortable for the other person. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there might be a boundary that's being crossed there. So just something to keep in mind. Setting boundaries with people who have hurt you, okay? It might be physical hurting, it might be mental or emotional hurting. People who are always demanding your time, your energy, who zap your energy. Okay? And you can do many things. You can completely walk away from them, which in some cases is the best route forward, or limit your time with them. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in another point about texting. Okay? And then the next point kind of relates to the first one. When you don't want to do something, to be able to say no. And if you're not able to just say no, there may be a boundary there that needs to be set. You probably don't want to say no because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want them to be mad at you. You don't want them to leave you, right? There's a lot of fear going on in there. Because I know you want to be with people who respect you when you say, yes, I'm doing this. I would love your support. If not, no, I don't want to do this. And they say, I honor your decision. Okay? So saying no, if you're unable to say no, when you really want to say no, or you're saying no, and then you've got to give a 10-minute explanation of why you're saying no, there might be a boundary there that needs to be set. Okay. It might be time to set boundaries when you've got people coming at you asking questions and personal questions, the nosy people and the probing questions. How much money do you make? Right? They want gossip about your friends, your family. They're asking really personal questions about you, and it's hard for you to say it's none of your business. Or I'm not answering that now. Or, just, hey, that's a really personal question. And I don't want to talk about it right now. I have been in situations where I have seen people asking these probing questions to another person. And I'm like, why aren't they just saying, hey, it's none of your business? And again, it always comes back to there's some kind of inner belief of, I don't want to get them mad at me. I don't want them to not like me. I don't want them to leave me. I don't want to cause a problem. And, those inner beliefs need to also be worked on when you're setting boundaries. Okay? Physical boundaries, okay? That might be someone standing too close to you, sitting too close to you, touching you. I mean, I'm come from an affectionate family. I'm very affectionate. So those things are fine for me until they're not. And it's usually an energy thing. And I can set up that boundary very quickly. But maybe for you, it's hard to set up that boundary. And so an actual physical boundary needs to be set. This piece goes both ways, okay? So setting up a boundary, giving people the space to make their own decisions, and setting up a boundary that allows you to make your own decisions. Okay, so it's really great to get advice and input from other people. I think we all reach out from time to time. But if there's people in your life that are always giving unsolicited, unasked for advice, and it might be on social media, it might be your family, it might be your friends, your coworkers, and you're like, hey, I don't need any advice right now, then to be able to set up that boundary, to be able to say something like, thank you so much, but I got this covered. Thank you so much, I'll take it under advisement. Thank you so much, but I already know what I'm doing. And then again, the flip side might be maybe you're the one always giving advice to someone and you're crossing a boundary instead of allowing them to make their own decisions. Listen, I have some beautiful people in my life that I just absolutely love, younger people. And sometimes I hear of their decisions and choices and I'm like, ooh, like, aren't they looking ahead and can't they see how this is going to turn out? But at the same time, I also see that they need to have those experiences. They need to have that growth. Maybe they're going to turn it around. So I'll offer my input if asked. Otherwise, I just lay back and I'm here to support you. I love you no matter what. Okay. You might need to set a boundary if you're taking care of other people's needs more than you are taking care of yours. Your self-care, your health, your well-being, your vitality is suffering because you are taking care of other people more than yourself. Whether it's in service, family members, this is a very unhealthy boundary. Maybe you're feeling like a doormat, ragged, sick, or you're just sitting there like, I'm doing things for other people that I wish I was doing for myself. That's time to set a boundary. All right? And here's the texting part. It could be even texting. I know sometimes from time to time, there are people in my life and I'll get like 20 texts from them a day and I need to say, listen, you know, you can text me all you want, but I'm not going to be reading any for the next 2-3 days. I need to take a break. I'm getting off my phone. Right? Because you need to take care of yourself first. All right? You may need to set up a boundary if there's people around you who are always judging you and criticizing you and bullying you, and you just stand there and take it. That's a big sign that a boundary needs to be set. And then sometimes boundaries need to be set just for a cool down. Okay, so think about it this way. When you were young and maybe you had brothers and sisters, or you were playing with your cousins or your friends, and there was a big brouhaha, and then some parent, maybe it was your mom, came and said, okay, you go to your room and you go downstairs and everybody just cool off. And mom created a boundary in that moment for everybody to cool off and regroup. And sometimes boundaries need to be created in that situation. If you feel that you're with somebody and you're just not getting anywhere, and you know you both everybody needs a timeout here, a timeout boundary to kind of just regroup and then come back and sort it out. So that might be a boundary issue as well. All right, so those are some examples of boundaries to be set. So what does self-confidence and self-esteem have to do with all of this? Well, as you can see, it's twofold. Setting boundaries will build self-confidence and self-esteem. I set this boundary once, I can do it again. Self-confidence boost. I'm setting this boundary because I love myself, I am worthy, I am deserving, I'm building self-trust, I'm taking care of myself. The other side of it is if you're saying, I have a hard time, Esther, setting boundaries no matter what, then let's build the self-confidence and self-esteem within so that you can do it. And that is the theme of the upcoming event that I am hosting starting November 1st in just a few days. It's a 30-day online event, Build and Boost Self-Confidence and Self-Esteem. There are going to be teachings, and I'm going to give you home assignments so you can start putting things into practice to build and boost your self-confidence, which affects every area of your life. Not just setting boundaries. It affects relationships and career and success and maybe sex too. Yes, of course, right? Because if you feel lack of self-confidence or self-esteem inside of you, you may not be enjoying the sexual, physical relationships that you would like. That was actually a really good slip right there. Okay, but self-confidence, self-esteem affects every area of your life, right? And I did that recent survey, and people said, you know, I've got great confidence in some areas of my life, but not so great in others. I could use a boost. We're going to do it. I'm going to send you emails with the teachings, the information, the new perspectives, the awarenesses. I'm going to give you home assignments to do, right? To anchor it, to set it in motion, okay? To start building and boosting within, because just understanding something is great, but putting into action takes it to a whole new level. I'm going to do videos on a private YouTube link, which is going to supplement the material. We're going to have a group sharing board on WhatsApp where I want you to share your homework. And if you're watching this video and you're saying, ooh, Esther, I am really identifying a belief that I have, or a patterning I have, or a fear I have within that I know is blocking my self-confidence and self-esteem, please add on the private 1-hour session. It is at a very special rate. It's an extra purchase when you go on to the sales page, and you and I can meet together, and I will help you to troubleshoot that limiting belief, that limiting behavior, whatever it is, so that you can release it and really take your self-confidence and self-esteem to the next level. All right, I'm going to put a link below for the information page for this upcoming event. Please take a look at it now so that you are all set up and ready to go November 1st, because as I said in an earlier video, often with these 30-day events, I kind of like ease into things, but this time, day one, we're going right out of the gate with a topic that is going to help you to build self-trust and self-honoring, which is part of this whole big umbrella. All right, I can't wait to see you there. I hope this was helpful. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe one of these pieces hit home for you below. Also, I'll include my Linktree bio down below, so you'll be able to know where to get a hold of me anywhere on social media. I love you lots. Okay, I've been doing a weather update. We've had rain for the last 3 days. And it is raining here again, but I checked the weather report, and apparently by noon, sun is going to come out, which is good because I have some errands to run today, and I don't have an umbrella. You know, one of the I guess holdbacks of living out of one suitcase. I don't carry things I don't need, and I always hope that the apartment that I'm in has an umbrella, but that's not the case here. So I'm waiting for the rain to stop, and then I'm heading out to do errands. Whatever you do today, I hope you have a beautiful day. Love you lots.